So I'm going to invite us this morning to have just the willingness to stretch. Grow, expand, regenerate, rejuvenate, transform. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay. Well, I have a little, spiritual practice is really important. We need help because we live in a world that really keeps us down quite a bit, that holds us to what's wrong instead of what's right and good and true. So I have a little rubber band, and this is going to remind us we are here to stretch and grow and expand because we live in an evolving universe. And when we forget who we really are, ouch. It's a reminder to change our thoughts and change our minds. So if you're ready to grow and expand and be who you truly are, and remember that you're divinely made, you can take one of these. If not, don't bother. But anyway, I'm here to help because we're in this together. And as I said, loving yourself madly, or whatever you want to say, is a divine mandate. It's here because it's what we're supposed to be and do. We know that we can't give what we don't have. And we can't receive what we don't know. So if we're made in the image and likeness of God, Spirit, love, then that's what we strive to be. So I'm simply going to invite us this morning to be open and willing to let go, heal, mend any false thoughts we've had about ourselves up to this time. Are you ready? Good. Okay. Well, I'd like to start with just a quote from the Science of Mind textbook. Ernest Holmes said, "The greatest good that can come to anyone." How many of you want more good in your life? Yes, all of us. Okay. "The greatest good that can come to anyone is the forming within themselves." Now remember, the wisdom is in here. So it's forming within themselves an absolute certainty of who they really are and their place in the universe. Who they really are. So every time you forget, click. And forever removing the sense of heaven as being outside of ourselves. We may be looking to something, to give us something more when everything we need is right here within us. We simply need to have that opening and awakening to know that I love myself the way I am. You know, it takes courage to love ourselves. Do you agree with me? We live in a society that doesn't encourage self-love. We live in a society that says, oh, self-love is selfish. To have self-admiration, that's arrogant. Have you heard that? Do you feel that? Yes, we need to change that. And never forget that as we change that concept of who we are and our position in the world, our vibration, as beautiful Virginia shared this morning, that vibration of love, as we're sending out, because we own it, as we're sending out the vibration of love, we can't help but heal the planet. Ricky and Michael Beckwith wrote this song. It's just 4 lines. Quite a while ago. I mean, I heard it 20-some years ago. And it says, "I love myself so much. I love myself so much that I can love you so much. No matter what you're doing, how you're showing up, whatever's going on, that I can love you so much." And remember, our healing love helps remind people who they really are. So when I love myself so much and I can love you so much, then you can love you so much that you can start loving me. You see, it's a beautiful circle, the law of reciprocity, the law of circulation. When we become that love which we're meant to be, truly meant to be, then it comes circular, and the gifts we receive are beyond measure. So I want to take a minute and look at the bad habits we've collected, the bad habits of self-condemnation. And Ernest Holmes said, no matter what, self-condemnation is destructive and should never be used. It's a mistake in thinking. Snap. Mistake when we put ourselves down. I love what Mark Anthony Lord wrote in his book in this chapter of Love Yourself Madly. He said, self-rejection, see if you recognize any of these little creeps. Self-rejection, blame, guilt, and unworthiness. makes me cry just to say them, but self-rejection, blame, guilt, and unworthiness are like ugly creatures living on the bottom of a swamp. And they lie very still until something stirs them up. Now, you know what stirs you up. Somebody says something that hurts your feelings, or you don't like something, or someone doesn't believe the same way you do, or something that really pushes your buttons, and you know where those buttons are. And they push your buttons, and then these ugly little creatures immediately go to the surface to sabotage and cause great trouble. You know who they are. You know those little ugly creatures. Well, I know we're not here to kill those ugly creatures because they only want the same thing that we all want. They don't want anything different. They just want to be loved. They want to evolve and awaken to the truth. They're made in the image and likeness of God, and wisdom is there to grow and evolve to a greater expression of who they are. So when you see those expressions of guilt and blame and self-rejection, it's just a call for ourselves to know something more about who we truly are. Ernest Holmes said, self-confidence, truly, and this comes right from the glossary of our Science of Mind textbook, self-confidence is knowing that each and every one of us is divinely guided, protected, and empowered by Spirit. It's learning to not look with our physical eyes and judge the world that way, but see with our internal wisdom of who we really are. Now, I know that every day of my life is an opportunity to learn and grow. I know there's always a wisdom in me that wants to be expressed in a greater way. So we need, I believe, to have a willingness to do the hard things. It's easier to sit back. It's easier not to grow and not to change. But I know that if we live in this outmoded world, whether it's not believing in self-love or whatever it is, we keep ourselves small. So this week I was thinking, okay, where is it that I need to grow? Well, we have a great gift. We talk about, Kirk stands up here every Sunday, and the thing he says that everybody remembers is, all are welcome here. All are welcome here. All paths lead to God. We're all on the same road with different expressions. Everybody remembers that. So in order for us to truly outpicture that and demonstrate that, we need to really speak up that we are open and affirming and loving and willing to accept people just as they are. And I want to honor and recognize Reverend Bobby Becker for stepping up in truly a place of courage, along with the help of Ron Sarno, to bring a beautiful event here to our center. And again, it takes courage to step up and stand up and speak up the things that aren't comfortable. And they're bringing to our center next week the Shower of Stoles. And Reverend Bobby's going to explain a little bit more about it later, but the Shower of Stoles is an extraordinary collection of over 2,000 liturgical stoles and other sacred items, represented by the lives of gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender people of faith. And these are people that have come together, first of all, many who have been defrocked or taken off their pulpit or their ministry taken away or whatever it is when they spoke their truth and shared who they really were. But then other stoles are people that are standing as faith leaders in the community. And these faith leaders come from 27 denominations, 6 countries on 3 continents. And this is all in support of the LGBTQ community. Well, I realized if we're opening our doors, we have faith leaders from many different faiths coming. We have people from the LGBTQ community, and Reverend Bobby's going to share a little bit more about that. I realized there's something that I was not comfortable with. I'm fine with lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, but I was not comfortable with the Q, the word queer. I just was not comfortable with that. When I, in the dictionary, queer is odd or strange or different or unique. But when I was growing up, that was a derogatory word used for homosexuals, and I could never even speak the word. So when I see it in something that we're hosting here, I went, oh my gosh, I cannot feel truly open and available if I have that block in me. So I'm, saying, what can I do? Well, what do we do when something's uncomfortable? We're afraid of things we don't know and understand. So what you do when you're afraid is you've got to do your research. You've got to listen and learn. So I did some research and learning, and wow, I found out that the word queer is different. It's a word that they're using as different and not part of the heterosexual community. And it's an umbrella word, a term used for the whole LGBT community. And I started reading about it and listening and understanding the love that was put out into explanation. And I am absolutely fine and comfortable because I did my part in my learning. And so I'm saying for us, there's a lot we need to learn today because there's words that we use that we have to expand their meaning with understanding. And I'd say a lot of times the word ego is something that has a bad rap. Now in our Science of Mind glossary, and many of you probably don't know this, the ego refers to the I am of the Bible. It refers to the perfect idea of God in man. Another place in Ernest Holmes' writing, he says, and this is a term I love, the ego is the mediary between the personal self and the absolute. The mediary. Now, because our ego has choice, we get to choose how we use our ego, our personal self. We can use it to be open and available to the good that's ever present, to the divine presence. We can use it to be open here and say yes, or we can use it to close down and feel separate and apart. We can choose that too. So it's not the word ego that's the problem. It's the way we use the word that matters. Are we using it to be open and available to something greater in our life? Or are we using it to shut down and be separate and blame and feel that unworthiness? It's up to us. So I'm going to invite you this week to think about when you say ego, are you willing to say, yeah, I'm using my personal self to be open to a greater expression. As I said, healing is always happening if we can be open and available to it. The other word, which I know even has a much bigger charge than ego, is the word narcissist. Arrogant, self-absorbed. You know, how many of you like the word narcissist? Probably not too many of us, unless you've studied a little more. Because once again, study has proven that a narcissist, a healthy narcissist, is someone who admires themselves, who feels good about who they are, who wants and feels they deserve success in their life, and honors and recognizes others as the same. Is there anything wrong with that? No. They've done a study, it was in, I think, early this century, a study done about the best managers, the best leaders in corporations are healthy narcissists. Now, there are destructive narcissists who are very self-absorbed and arrogant and could care less about anyone else. But the healthy narcissist wants success. I think maybe I need to be a little more narcissistic so I can stand up more in my power and accept who I am. Any of you think the same way? It's a little hard thing to do. Go like this. You know, we got to grow and change. We got to grow and change in these words that keep us limited and stuck. What I want here for every single person is to really up-level themselves, to be, truly be all they can be. For me too. So I have another little tool. I have 2 things for your altar this week. 2 things that are reminders of how we can show up to love ourselves madly. I have a little mirror like this. And our ushers are going to pass them out. And it's a reminder to you, mirror work is very important, not only in this chapter of our book, in Mark Anthony Lord's book, he talks about mirror work. Ernest Holmes talks a lot about the mirror and how the law of reflection, one of the laws, God is love and God is law, the law of reflection, life reflects back to us what we put into it. So if you're really having a difficult experience, then you've got to think, what am I reflecting into this law of life, the energy of life? What am I reflecting into it? Most of us, when we have our self-rejection, our unworthiness, blame, guilt, we're reflecting that into this mirror of life so we get opportunities to feel unworthy, opportunities to be rejected, opportunities to just get what we're putting into this law of reflection. And I'm just offering to us. Now, Louise Hay does lots of soul work, and she said every time you look at a mirror, just say, oh, I love, love, love you so much. And she says, look into your eyes, into the eyes, the windows of the soul. I love, love, love you so much. So I'm going to offer you something different. When I mean, do that too. That's beautiful, but something else. I shouldn't say different, something else. Oh, I just want you, when everybody has a mirror, I'm just going to invite you to look into it. I know it's a little hard. It's a little tiny mirror. It's really for just a reminder. But say, oh, God loves being me. Just say that. God loves being me. Because it's the truth. God loves being me, and oh man, I love being me too. Yeah, it's a reminder that when we reflect that love into the world, into the universe, remember, we are that healing expression. We're doing our part in this divine mandate to be an expression of love in the world. Can you imagine if we transform and amend and transcend those old limiting negative beliefs about ourselves, and we start really radiating a positive reflection of who we really are? Wow, we need to be magnifying the good. So maybe we need a not right now. But maybe we need a magnifying mirror to start magnifying the good and the beauty we are. We need to magnify that healing presence that's happening in our lives right now. And so this is just a reminder to put on you can put on your nightstand, on your dresser, on your altar, wherever you want it to be, to remind yourself, whenever you see yourself, oh, God loves being me. Say it again. And I love being me too. Really? I mean, with all our frailties and foibles, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's about remembering to put into the universe what we really want to do for ourselves and for others. And remember the song, I love myself so much. And then when things happen in this world that are painful, and they will, because everybody is learning at the level they're learning at, okay? So things will be painful to us. But if we love ourselves so much, we will not take it personally. We'll be able to step up and say, you know what? Even though I don't want to spend a whole lot of time with you, I can love you so much because I know you're simply an evolving spirit that's ready to awaken to a greater truth about themselves. And when we can send that love out, oh my goodness, it starts uplifting that person. And that's what I believe we're here to do. That's what I believe we're here right now on this planet, to know a greater expression of who we are. So just unravel yourself. I know I've said a lot of tough stuff today, and I'm sorry. But it's Love Sunday, so you're going to love me no matter what. I know that. So just unravel yourselves right now. And the beauty of closing your eyes is to allow ourselves to use the internal eye, the internal ear, to be listening to that internal voice, the I am presence, that always reminds us of our good, that always lets us know that the wisdom we're seeking is already here. It's that wisdom that we're listening to that lets us know that healing is happening right now, and it's only calling us to be open and available to the good that's present. Nothing we have to go out there and get, but something we need to let go of and reveal. And so just right now in this moment, just loosening up and being the total vibration. The beautiful Virginia was talking about that vibration of openness and willingness, and magnifying the good that we already are. Like the rose, letting that ice that's frozen us into forgetting and blocking out what we already have. I'm just inviting us to let anything melt away that has kept us separate from the truth of who we are. And as we lean into the stuff of which we're made, as we lean into the light and love and goodness and joy that's ever waiting our expression, along with the willingness to do the tough stuff and learn and grow and let go of the old concepts that are rigid and stuck, that we can simply be in the flow of life. that we can be open and know that newness is always happening. So just knowing in this moment that something new is happening right now as we open to it. Something new is working through and as me right here and now. And as I know that for myself, I know it for each person here, that we are awakening to a greater truth about ourselves, about our bodies, about our minds, about our experiences, that we're willing to love that experience that was difficult. It's here for us because life is always conspiring for our good. There is never anything that doesn't come to us without wisdom and truth that's calling to be seen and understood. So just in a moment, I'm just inviting each of us as we hear just the beautiful notes to not only feel in harmony with your body, to feel in harmony with your mind, with your experiences, with the stars, with all life right now. To be in harmony with all that is good and right and true. And as we let that energy work, as we let that energy just keep awakening and renewing, I just am going to invite you to take a nice deep breath and come back here right now as an open vessel, because the truth I know is we're the delivery system for life's goodness. We're the delivery system for God's love. You and I are here because that's our ultimate purpose. And so if you'll just say with me, I am available. Use me. Use me now. I'm ready. I'm open. I'm willing. I lean into the good that's always present. I lean into the wisdom. And this is just what I'm saying. And I lean into you. Because what I see when I look out here, I see a collection, a bouquet of beautiful beings that have said the vibration of yes. And that yes is why we're here together. And I know we're here to do wonderful and amazing things. So I simply say thank you all. And so it is. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.